are going to get a visa for this vacation and cussing all them ambassadors and high commissioners. Don't be surprised if I see me come back here Monday night. It means I ain't get a visa. So, namaste, Guyana. My soul honors your soul. I honor the light, love, beauty, truth, and kindness within you, because it is also in me. In sharing these things, there is no distance between us. We are the same. We are one. Peace out.
Kaieteur Radio.
Covering Guyana from coast to coast.
Demerara and Essequibo 99.1 FM.
Berbice 99.5 FM. Kaieteur Radio.
Hello, thank you for tuning in to Kaieteur Radio. I'm Kevin Smith. Welcome to your news at noon. These are the top stories we're tracking. Stabroek Block Agreement is one of the most lopsided deals signed in the history of Guyana. AG says it is a mistake we must learn from. Ex-TNT minister advising Guyana defense pushing his country into lopsided gas deal. Jenga Hari is prime suspect in latest shootout with customs. Another Guyanese gears to pump over $3 million into massive quarry project. Police surge at beaten and robbed by motorcycle bandits. Meanwhile, vaccination now mandatory for entry to all public and private buildings. Stay tuned to stay informed.
Weak systems of governance and the absence of the rule of law both combine to form the perfect stage for corruption to flourish. As part of our anti-corruption fight at Kaieteur Radio, we invite you to join us every Tuesday evening from 7:30 p.m. as we embark on a most needed quest to remove the tentacles of corruption from our systems. See you then for our latest program called Governance, Corruption and Justice.
And now for the news in detail. Minister of Legal Affairs and Attorney General Anil Nandlal, during a recent interview, stated that the production sharing agreement that Guyana signed with American oil giant ExxonMobil is one of the most lopsided agreements signed in the country's history. To this end, the AG noted that the lopsided contract must be a mistake that Guyana learns from when going forward with signing future oil and gas agreements. Minister Nandlal made those statements during an interview. When questioned on the Exxon-Guyana agreement, which has been highly criticized, he first upheld his position that that deal is one of the most lopsided ones ever signed in the country's history, and noted that he has never retracted from that position, nor does he intend to. Nandlal also expressed his dissatisfaction that one of the most important agreements in the history of Guyana was signed in secrecy by the previous government, and not even the then opposition, which was the PPP, was informed of what was being done. He noted that due to the principle of sanctity of contract, he cannot eat the cake and have it as well, according to Mr. Nandlal. Minister Nandlal then disclosed that going forward, the government will have to deal with an issue and ensure that future licenses are more favorable to Guyana. And moving on, following revelations 2 months ago by Trinidad and Tobago's Energy Minister Stuart Young that his predecessor Kevin Ramnarine, along with other former government officials, left the country's gas industry mere inches away from death's door with a lopsided deal and accompanying policy, Ramnarine has come forward to set the record straight. The ex-minister is of the firm conviction that the project, despite all criticisms, has resulted in jobs for the people of Trinidad and Tobago and will soon lead to positive cash flow as it was executed with key Japanese firms. The project in question relates to the building and operation of a $900 million petrochemical complex using natural gas. The deal was signed with Caribbean Gas Chemical Limited and the National Gas Company of Trinidad and Tobago. It should be noted that the Caribbean Gas Chemical Limited is a joint venture that includes Japanese companies Mitsubishi Gas Chemical Company, Mitsubishi Corporation, and Mitsubishi Heavy Industries. Young, during a post-cabinet briefing in July, was keen to note that the project was no ordinary one. He said it was so fraught with lopsided provisions that it decimated the country's gas sector. And now let's tell you, popularly known businessman and alleged smuggler Harilal Motilal, called Jinga Hari, has been identified as the prime suspect behind the recent shooting of 2 enforcement officers attached to the Guyana Revenue Authority. Last Thursday night, the 2 customs officers were shot to their face and abdomen during a joint anti-smuggling operation with members of the Guyana Police Force in Mahaika. Reliable sources yesterday informed Kaieteur that the businessman is yet to be arrested. Meanwhile, on Thursday, a team of GRA's Law Enforcement and Investigation Division officers and policemen went into the Mahaika location to intercept a boat after receiving information that it is suspected to be carrying uncustomed goods into the Mahaika River. GRA stated that around 23 hours 45 that day, its vessel came under heavy powered gunfire emanating from the businessman's vessel and property. The company had believed that the suspects involved may have been tipped off of its operation since they opened fire on the officers. And now let's tell you, with the accelerated pace of development from the oil and gas sector fueling an increased demand for aggregates, a local businessman has started plans to benefit from the lucrative opportunities that abound. If approved, Pradeep Abdul, the CEO of Patara Gold Mining Company and the owner of Winnipuru Quarry, is set to invest more than $3 million to develop a modern, large-scale quarry to meet the existing and projected demand for aggregates and boulders. While the project is expected to provide permanent employment for 50 to 66 Guyanese, it was noted that through the project's capital investment and the initial life of 5 years, the estimated annual turnover would be in excess of $2.9 million or 605 million Guyana dollars. It is understood that the quarry would be located opposite Barakara Quarries on the left bank of the Essequibo River, 80 kilometers southwest of Georgetown, with the nearest town being Bartica. You're listening to Kaieteur Radio 99.1 and 99.5 FM. This is your news at noon. We will return after the break.
This is GHK Lal inviting you to join me weekdays from Monday to Friday on the National Outlook for commentary on a range of issues. Immediately after the 12 noon and 7 p.m. newscasts on Kaieteur Radio at 99.1 FM and 99.5 FM. Looking forward to you sharing in the conversation.
Welcome back. Let us continue with the news. A police sergeant was on Saturday last robbed and beaten by 4 armed motorcycle bandits while on his way to work. According to a police report, the incident occurred at Vrijdslust Public Road on the east coast of Demerara around 7 hours 10. It was stated that the officer was walking in a northern direction out of the Vrijdslust access road to get transportation when he was confronted by 4 unidentifiable men. We understand that the 4 suspects appeared from an unknown direction on 2 motorcycles. During the confrontation with the bandits, one of the suspects hit the cop to his head, while the others began to strip him of his possessions, a cell phone valued at $40,000 and gold wedding band. The bandits fled the scene while the sergeant made his way to the Georgetown Public Hospital to get his injuries treated. He left after receiving medical attention. The matter was then reported and an investigation was launched. Meanwhile, in the government's updated COVID-19 emergency measures published on Saturday, vaccination is now mandatory for any person who wishes to enter a public building. This updated regulation, which took effect from Saturday and would last up to September 30th, explains that it is any building to which the public has lawful access and shall include both publicly and privately owned buildings, including all institutions of learning. It is understood that this includes places such as private hospitals, banks, stores, private schools, and places of worship. The new guidelines further stipulate that if an unvaccinated person wants to access these buildings, they are required to make an appointment or submit a negative PCR test, which was taken within the 7 days of the appointment. Previously, vaccination requirement was only for those who wanted to access ministries or any government agencies. And now for your COVID-19 update, followed by the page 7 of the Kaieteur News, dedicated to being blunt. Yesterday, the Ministry of Health reported that a 62-year-old man from Region 6 who contracted COVID-19 died on Wednesday while receiving treatment at a medical facility. As a result of this, the country's COVID-19 death toll has moved to 641. Further, the ministry recorded 215 new infections within the last 24 hours, bringing the total number of confirmed cases in the country to 26,510. Presently, there are 33 patients who are admitted in the COVID-19 ICU, 125 persons in institutional isolation, 2,269 in home isolation, and 3 in institutional quarantine. To date, a total of 23,543 persons who tested positive with the virus have recovered. The leader who counts in the opposition, former President Granger, is off on an extended leave of absence. Our first concern is for his health and that he is all right. Nevertheless, in the spirit of bluntness that the page 7 is dedicated to, our recommendation is that former President David Granger takes himself out of any leadership role in Guyana's politics and look after himself and family first. We think that he serves this country better by stepping down fully and permanently, and be content with serving as mentor and wise man to comrades and citizens. Take a total rest, sir. You and Guyana would both be better. And with that, we've come to the end of today's News at Noon. I'm Kevin Smith. Thank you for listening.
Want value for your advertising dollar? Then place your ads on Kaieteur Radio's newscasts. Streamed live on 6 different mediums, reaching hundreds of thousands. Advertise today and watch your dollar grow. Call us on 225-8465 or 226-8210 today.
Citizens of Guyana, brothers and sisters, ExxonMobil putting a padlock on Guyana's gate. Listen how Exxon put a padlock on we gate to control our animals. Kaieteur News carried a story